680 CJOB.
Yes, brought to you, of course, by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line. Win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza.
Is it still Pasta Tuesdays at Boston Pizza? I know it's no longer all you can eat. Kids eat for free because it's not September anymore.
You know what? Just go down today and
ask.
And just ask. And if not, just order something else delicious off their menu.
Or just order it anyway.
Yeah, just do it.
I don't think it was ever all you can eat.
Just
but it was
Cam,
Pasta Tuesdays. I used to crush Pasta Tuesdays.
Just say Cam and Jim
especially
said
in college.
Pasta Tuesday.
Schooner, Pasta Tuesday. Keep them coming. I got an exam this afternoon.
This is a wild show.
This is going to be wild.
There is tons going on.
There is so many questions that need answers.
It's intrigue, Jim. There's a lot of intrigue. That's the perfect word I think I would attach coming out at camp and heading towards Thursday's home and season opener.
And I think it's fair to say our listeners, society in general, and the world, when there are Jets questions, look to us to have them answered.
And you know whose shoulders they're on more than anyone else?
And what do we do when we answer those questions? We ask one man because we don't have the answers.
Kelly Moore has the answers, Jet Studio host.
But in a way,
CJOB
that's us
director.
getting the answers.
Hello, Kelly. How are you?
I am fine. And, just end the debate about the Boston Pizza. Go for the $15 lunch special where you get a main, a side, and a drink. It is the absolute best deal for lunch.
By far.
It's not even close.
By far.
It's not even close. And if you call the Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800, you might get you might be the number one caller and be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza. You're going to eat well for several days.
Kelly knows this, but $50 could get me out of a couple jams.
Kelly, there's tons going on coming out of Winnipeg Jets camp at practice. And we didn't learn a new word, but we learned a different definition to something. The big news coming out, the opening day roster was released this morning at around after 8:30. And on there, Jonathan Toews was not listed on the opening day roster. That, of course, is everybody going, well, what's going on? What's going on and all that. This is a very specific situation, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he won't be on the game day roster come Thursday, Kelly. So help unpack this. What's going on with Jonathan Toews right now?
Sure. Well, and this actually goes back to last night because Russ Hobson was writing a story for our web, and I was texting back and forth with Russ. He was counting the 23 players, including the 3 injured, and then I said, well, you don't have Jonathan Toews on there. And he said, well, he's not listed on the Jets roster. So I thought, well, that can't be an oversight. But I said, well, let's just go with what we know. So go with 24, and another decision has to be made by the time the rosters are revealed by the National Hockey League in the morning. And then, of course, they get revealed today, and we find out that Jonathan Toews is not on there. Instead, he is on injured non-roster, which is the same designation for Adam Lowry. Now, for Lowry, it's because his injury goes back to last season. It doesn't have anything to do with this year's training camp or preseason. And for Jonathan Toews, it's a little bit different for him. I guess this is still that tweak that he encountered in that exhibition game against Minnesota last Tuesday. But he qualifies for injured non-roster because he did not play in the National Hockey League last season. So it became very confusing. A lot of questions had to be asked. And I think our colleague Ken Weed were unraveling some of that. And then I was communicating directly with the Jets on the other. And then the other part of this, though, is that Jonathan Toews could still make his Winnipeg Jets regular season debut on Thursday, because if he is not on that injured non-roster by Thursday, he will be eligible to play. And he was practicing this morning.
Yeah, he was on the second. He was working out with the second unit power play. We got this from 680 CJOB's Christian O'Mell. He was in the second unit power play with Nyquist, Nemesnikov, Niederreiter, Pionk. In the first unit is Connor Scheifele, Velarde, Morrissey, and Iafallo. So, I mean, it's It's interesting too, and Ford, Lambert, and both of them are still on this team. Kelly, is this just the Jets just protecting themselves in a situation where, hey, if Toews can't go, we won't have to bring or call somebody up, regardless if the Manitoba Moose are here in town or not, or you can get a couple more practices in at least for Lambert or whoever would it be that person that has to get moved down.
Exactly, and also it helps settle those players. They're not ping-ponging back and forth. I mean, the Moose are at home to Laval on Friday night, so logistically it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But why not avoid any unnecessary paperwork? Protect your assets, if you will, and then just see how things unfold as the week goes on. But I would have to think that it's just the Jets being precautionary with a player who has not played in the National Hockey League for the last 2 seasons. If this was some other player, perhaps it would be a little bit of a different story. Maybe we'll get Scott O'Neill will shed a little bit of light on that during the post-practice avail.
Along those lines too, Kelly, the Jets aren't the only team. Like I saw Jonathan Huberdeau in Calgary's on IR for Wednesday's game, but he could play Thursday.
Right.
Is this something new, or is this something that's always been there?
It's always been there. Go back to last year. Remember when Ville Heinola had the infection in the screw that was part of the repair of his ankle from the year before? He went on injured non-roster because it wasn't an injury that was a result of training camp. I mean, training camp had basically been 1 day, and I think they discovered this after the last captain's practice before the officials started training camp. So that's why he went on injured non-roster, but Logan Stanley went on injured reserve because his injury was picked up or suffered in training camp and during the preseason. So this has been around, but because a lot of the times it doesn't involve such, I guess, a high-profile case like Jonathan Toews, that you just kind of go, okay, well, they're going to be like injured reserve. When they're better, they're better. But the difference between injured reserve, when you go on IR, you have to stay on there for 7 days. By putting Jonathan Toews on injured non-roster, this still allows them to play him, whether it's Thursday night or maybe Saturday afternoon against the Los Angeles Kings.
680 CJOB Jet Studio host, CJOB Sports Director Kelly Moore. Kelly, thanks so much for popping on and clearing the air a little bit.
Do I get a bonus because I gave you an answer for the Boston Pizza lunch dilemma and Jonathan Toews?
Well, Kelly, I'll talk to the powers that be. For this hit and
give
this
him
hit,
a little something.
For this hit and this hit alone, I'll double the money heading your way. Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'll get Judd Boldaver, Connor McDavid's agent, to negotiate for me. I'm going to go for a $12.50 lunch special.
Kelly,
I can't make any promises. All I can say is I'll do my best.
I'll do what my dad used to do. I'll slide a $5 in your pocket and say, go buy yourself something nice, kid.
All right. Take care, Kelly. We'll talk soon.
See you later, fellas.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. So just to recap all this, Brad Lambert, Parker Ford are right now on the game day roster. Jonathan Toews is on injured non-roster. And Jim, I hope we never have to discuss this ever again. But this is just one of those little nuanced, this guy qualifies, that guy qualifies, all this stuff that's like, there are smarter people that handle this kind of stuff. And to me, it's like, it's this distinction, that distinction, but they're important distinctions because it affects when somebody is available to play.
Well, and Kelly brought up Heinola last year, and I just didn't even look into the wording of the IR because I'm just like, well, this is months, so that's why he's IR, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get the IR and then you could play. But I did hear this 2 days ago with Jonathan Huberdeau. He will not play Wednesday, but he's available for Thursday's game. And I'm like, well, how does the IR work?
Yeah.
And then Tyson Rowicki was looking into it today because he knows how to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. He's a smart. He's I won't say he's smart, but he's got his uses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, what's smart, really? Right?
Define,
Who are we to judge
define,
smart? Who are we to
smart.
judge intelligence?
So here's the line rushes from today's practice. Connor Scheifele, Velarde, Nyquist, Toews, Cheeberkoff, Niederreiter, Nemestikov, Iafallo, Koepke, Barron, and Pearson Ford, Lambert, and Gustafson were the extra forwards, and then Morrissey, DeMello, Fleury, and Pionk, and then Stanley and Shen Miller, your extra defensemen. And, of course, the pecking order when it comes to netminders, Connor Hellebuyck, number one, the backup, Eric Comrie.
I will say this as we go on with today's show. I believe in the Jets. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah.
This is ominous. This is not the way you want to start a season. You have Dallas coming in here Thursday. You have the LA Kings coming in Saturday. Injuries happen. I'm not saying the Jets did something wrong that this is ominous. But no Perfetti, no Lowry, no Sandberg, maybe Jonathan Toews, maybe not. And look, I'm not trying to read more into this than there is. I don't think Jonathan Toews would have made it this far if he wasn't capable of playing the season. I didn't think he would go injury-free or not get banged up at all. I'm not saying that or all this.
Yeah.
But some Jets fans are really, really, really concerned about this, the fact that he might not be able to finish a season.
We're going to wait and see. I mean,
and I don't think that at this point yet.
Well, I'll say this, Jim. The stars on this team, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey, Connor Hellebuyck. You know, those are the stars of this team. They're still healthy. They're still on the ice. This is why they brought in so much depth. Their depth is better this year than last.
It is.
And listen, they're facing immediate adversity, and it's going to be up to them. But listen, it's a great point. Dallas, a team that beat them in a best of 7, right, in 6 games. And then Los Angeles. How did the Winnipeg Jets do against Los Angeles last year? Not too well. They struggled against the Kings.
I'm just saying it would not surprise me. I'm not saying they're going to be. They could come out in home opener and, Hellebuyck get a shutout and they win the game. But they could be 0-2 this week. Going on the road to Long Island on Monday, Thanksgiving Monday, and then
it could be
Philadelphia. Just because, look, Dallas isn't injured right now. Dallas is fully healthy, locked and loaded.
Let's take a break. I have a little stat about the Kings in Dallas, and the Winnipeg Jets are involved in that too as well. Before the show's out, I will mention what I'm talking about. When we come back, did you see the rings for the Florida Panthers? The Panthers are raising the banner, the championship banner tonight against Chicago. There's a little, when you have a ring and there's like a little message in there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what that is.
What's the message?
I'll tell you what it is.
I want to know.
Well, welcome back to the show, 204-780-6868. Miss your chance to get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza, coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15, only at BP. So inside the Panthers championship rings, Jim.
Yeah.
They have the words, "We apologize to no one." And then they have crosses through Tampa Bay, Toronto, Carolina, and Edmonton.
Crosses, like
they have
scratched off.
Yeah, scratched off. And then
we apologize to no one.
We apologize to no one on the top.
Is that a play on I'd like to apologize to absolutely nobody?
Yeah.
The McGregor?
Yeah, because they're, a rough and tumble team. They played, they rode the line. There's no doubt about that. And they don't apologize for the way that they played in the playoffs.
Good for them. That doesn't bother me. I don't really care. Do people care? Are people upset?
Is that an apology, Jim? Are you looking to apologize?
Look, of all the things I need to apologize for, I just want to say that I apologize to absolutely nobody.
Mitchell Clinton, CJOB radio color analyst, still join us.
Except Mitchell. If I've ever offended Mitchell, I apologize to him. Nicest guy on the planet.
He's going to join us, and we'll get his thoughts on all the ups and downs coming from practice and the couple days of news. We'll be right back. Jets at noon brought to you by Washer Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta, bringing the team to Boston Pizza.
BP.
Jets practice. Brad Lambert, Parker Ford, Nikita Chibrikov on the opening day roster. Jonathan Toews on injured non-roster. Lots going on. Adam Lowry also on that injured non-roster list. Dylan Sandberg on IR.
I'm not feeling so good.
Cole Perfetti on IR. Is the sky falling, Jim Toth? Is it all over already before anybody even sang a note?
We have to ask Ken Weeb because he's the Jets watcher of the sky.
Well
I bestowed that on him last year.
We don't have Ken Weeb, so I guess we're going to have to settle for Mitchell Clinton, radio color analyst here on the program. Hey, Mitchell.
A ray of sunshine in his own right.
It's going to say I'm also secondary to Ken Wiebe when it comes to aces on the golf course. So it's a pretty tough spot to be. But, I mean, how do you even compare to what he's been able to do on the golf course in his career?
You know, his favorite thing is when everyone talks about that. I think he loves it.
Yeah. He also told me about
radio clip. He'll love it.
Yeah. He also told me about, as I was doing round 3 of the summer about 2 weeks ago, said, good to have you out. And I'm like, yeah, what round is this for you? He goes, well, I don't want to get, it's actually round 70. And I was like, well, for a guy who didn't really want to bring that up and rub it in, you sure did. We're quick on the draw there, Weber.
And the thing about Ken Wiebe, too, Jim told he was really happy to have you out there.
70 rounds sounds like a dream, Mitchell, but then it also sounds like a sentence. Like that's doing time. You got to put your time in to get 70 rounds in.
That's 100% true. I was somewhere in the mid-50s, and it felt like I was playing almost every day. But, yeah, you hear a number like that, and, just a man committed to the sport.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. A man committed. What's going on at practice today, Mitchell? And what's the latest? What are we hearing from the team?
Head coach Scott Arniel was just speaking to the media here just prior to me coming on with you guys. And, obviously you guys talked kind of coming out of break there just about Jonathan Toews and what his designation on that roster. And, at this point, he's still day-to-day, and Scott Arniel is hoping that he can play on Thursday. So that's, literally as of 3 minutes ago that he said that to the media. So I think the hope is that Toews will play, of course. I mean, in terms of what he did in practice, he was full participant and did a little bit of power play rotation just prior to practice. But when they actually got into it in the practice, it was Alex Iafallo kind of joining that top power play unit, Toews on the second. So I think they're still kind of working through some people that could possibly take Jonathan Toews' spot, and maybe it's a certain look for certain penalty kills. We'll have to see how that all goes. But, yeah, as you would expect, kind of coming off of an off day yesterday, touched on a whole lot of things. They did a lot of special teams, did some 5-on-5, really covered all their bases as they get ready for Thursday.
And along those lines, that could also be just simply like we don't want to decimate the second power play, so we're going to leave Toews on there, and Iafallo is more than capable, or do you read that into it?
Yeah, I mean, it could be any number of things. And, they're sitting up watching practice, and you're seeing that second unit of, Neil Pionk, Jonathan Toews, Niederreiter, Vlad Nemestikov. I mean, there's a lot of, creativity, and Gus Nyquist was there as well. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of creativity on that second unit. And you think back to last season, yes, Winnipeg's power play was ranked top in the National Hockey League, but it took both units to do that, right? So, like, yes, there would go with stretches where it was that Scheifele unit that seemed to be scoring every game. But then for a while, it was that second unit too. So you need both units to be going, and maybe they have a slightly different look. Maybe they do things a little bit differently in terms of how they generate offense. But you need both units. And, if you find that maybe Alex Iafallo is the one that kind of just fits that spot where, and that role that Cole Perfetti plays on that top unit, maybe a little bit more to the liking of everybody that's on there, whether it's handedness issue or whatever it may be, I mean, your second unit is still going to be really good. So Winnipeg's got a lot of options in that spot, and that's kind of something that, Kevin Cheveldayoff, Scott Arniel, Davis Payne, everybody's kind of talked about, is the fact that, you have a lot of players that are very versatile that can go into some different spots and can provide you with a different look.
Is the power play different, Mitchell, or is it just a couple of tweaks?
It looks to me a little bit different. There's a couple of different looks I think that they're trying to put together, but it's tough to tell just because they're running it kind of as part of like a sequence of routes, if you will. So they'll run it at 5-on-0, and they'll run through 3 or so different plays. And what they'll do is they'll pop themselves back into the neutral zone, do a reload, and come back in this time against penalty killers and try to run different things, right, depending on what the penalty killers give you. So it's not like they're really sitting there going, okay, let's try this out, and then bring in the penalty killers and kind of forcing it in, because the game doesn't work that way. Right? Like the penalty kill is going to be trying to accomplish what it needs to accomplish, pressure you in points that work for the opposition. So I think they can run a few plays and kind of get themselves into some slightly different formations. Like we're used to that, especially with the Scheifele unit looking like that 1-3-1. But yeah, they ran through a couple of different things. And I think it's all going to depend on what the opposition is doing. And that extends back into the neutral zone as well. Like, I remember asking during the preseason about a couple of the power play entries that I saw that looked a little bit different. And Scott O'Neill said, yeah, it's just a matter of whatever we're up against, we want to have some options to go to.
Defensive pairings today look to be the left side, Morrissey, Fleury, Stanley, right side, DeMello, Pionk, Schenn. Looks like Schenn will start the season there on Thursday. Stanley would be his partner. I don't think enough people are talking about Hayden Fleury. 29 years old, gets a 2-year deal off floating around, former first-round pick. There's a lot of players in this organization that are wondering when they're going to get their shot. It's a true testament to never give up on your dream.
Yeah, absolutely. And he really seems like he's found a fit here in Winnipeg. And I know, in terms of goals for and against, the pairing of Fleury and Pionk last year in limited time, I think there was still an adjustment period for those two. So we'll see kind of how things go if that's the pair that they want to operate with on Thursday against Dallas. But, when I think of Fleury, the first thing that I think of is his skating.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be an efficient skater and confident in your abilities to be able to jump into a game 7 and play 33 minutes like he did last spring, right? So he's always been very confident in his ability to move the puck. And, especially given what Winnipeg and NHL teams for that matter anyways want out of their defensemen to get up ice and help in the offense. I mean, it was almost surprising to me that he, didn't have the offensive numbers maybe last year to go along with the game, because it just seemed every game he played, he had 2 or 3 shots. So nice for him to get on the board in the preseason finale against Calgary, and maybe that opened some things up. But yeah, in that pair with Neil Pionk, you got 2 guys that can skate, 2 guys that can move, 2 guys that can go back for pucks, make that first pass, which is all important on a breakout, as you guys know. I'm really intrigued by that pair, so we'll see what happens when it comes to Thursday.
Does it say anything that Ville Heinola cleared waivers?
You know what? I just think this is a guy that just needs to play and play consistently and really get his game back to the level that he expects. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, I thought he had an awful preseason. I don't think he did. I remember in Edmonton, I thought he was one of the best players on the ice. Moved the puck really well. I think he played over 22 minutes in that game, and that looked like the Ville that I remember, right? And the challenge for him has just been the injuries and being in and out of the lineup, not quite playing that regular shift. So, he's gonna go to the Manitoba Moose. He's gonna play a big role there, and then you just don't know how the season's gonna go in terms of injury or opportunity, whatever that may be, right? So for Ville, obviously, certainly disappointment that he's not with the Winnipeg Jets at this point. But I think he, being the person that he is, being the team guy that he is, he's going to go down. He's going to do everything that he can to earn that opportunity to come back up. And then you see what happens. But yeah, ultimately for everything and all the conversation around Ville, I just always think this is a guy that just needs to get out there, get playing, get his game right to that consistent level that he likes. Because I even think back to the first day of training camp this year, where I think they were just doing like 2-on-1 rushes, whatever that may be, and he took a shot right off the ankle again. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, can this guy ever get any luck whatsoever? So hopefully this is the year that things start to turn for Ville and come back in that positive direction, because he certainly deserves it.
And really could be like a Hayden Fleury. Like you say, he just needs to play, and then, his contract will be what the contract is, either here or somewhere, who knows. But I agree, he needs to play. Last one for you, Mitchell. Dallas coming to town. They're unfortunately healthy.
Yeah, 5-1.
Well, except for Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn is...
Yes, pardon me, Jamie, yeah. Collapsed lung is no easy.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, let's get into the matchup. The rematch of... Sometimes the schedule makers get it right, and how the season ends is how the season will begin.
Yeah, exactly. And, they obviously have had a pretty successful preseason in terms of their record and whatnot, but it's so hard to predict how these things are going to go, because structurally, the teams always look so different at the start of the season as they do at the end, and obviously a coaching change in Dallas as well. So, we'll have to look into some of that video to see in the preseason if there's any kind of hints over what they might look like, because, statistically, you put those two teams together last year, there wasn't a whole lot of give. I mean, goals for, both at the same at 275. Winnipeg was the best in terms of goals against, but Dallas is right there in that top 5 or 6. So there's really not a whole lot to give on both sides of the puck for either team. So they've always been so closely competitive, and that's why, it went to a game 6 last year, ultimately obviously going Dallas's way. But I think it's a really good test. You're going to see a whole whackload of Central Division teams this year, 26 meetings with Central Division clubs. May as well get that first one out of the way and have it be a really good test.
Mitchell Clinton, he is the CJOB radio color analyst right here on 680 CJOB. You'll hear him on our airwaves on Thursday, helping Paul Edmonds call that game against the Dallas Stars. Mitchell, thanks so much. Take care and enjoy your last couple days, and then that's it. You're finished.
Maybe get your 89th round in before the start on Thursday.
Or at least try to get one ace so I can at least look Ken Wiebe in the eye.
Yeah. He's a tough guy to look in the eye, that's for sure. Mitchell, thanks so much. Take care.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah, 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. Brad Lambert and Parker Ford. If Toews can play on Thursday and comes off the injured non-roster, who gets sent down?
Parker Ford.
Do you think Ford goes down and Lambert stays?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
You know what? I don't really know, because I think that if Toews plays and can't continue, that Lambert's a top 6 guy and Parker Ford's a bottom 6 guy. And the bottom 6 is thick and healthy other than Lowry.
I think you're right.
Iafallo can go up. Lambert could slide in Iafallo's spot, maybe do some damage on that third line with Niederreiter.
Mm-hmm. And if you give Chibrikov and Toews
it's more of a skilled third line. But you bring up a good point. Maybe it's Parker Ford on the third line.
Well,
maybe it's Parker Ford and he's the checker with that. That's what the third line's job is, right? Is to provide both offense but good solid checking. Lambert's, he self-admits last year that's what he had to work on was his board battles and check. But I mean, I don't know. It's
interesting how I wonder how the Jets coaching staff is thinking. So do you keep Lambert because, okay, Nyquist, Toews, and Chibrikov, they need maybe a little bit more speed. So you keep Lambert around. So if you see like maybe 3 or 4 games in, or you give him 2 or 3 games, and then maybe you put Lambert into that spot. Or are you thinking we're going to keep Ford for that bottom 6, as you mentioned, and then maybe move an Iafallo up there or a Niederreiter or somebody, to play with those guys? Maybe a more veteran.
To me, Parker Ford's a 4th line player and a really good one. I think it's time to start looking at some of these guys. I think it's time to start getting some games for Brad Lambert. And if that's a game against the LA Kings because Toews is whatever and Iafallo's going up, I know that Parker Ford does the 3rd, 4th line job and does it well. I think they both had great camps. I really do. I thought Parker Ford earned this, and I thought Brad Lambert's playing with a whole new confidence. I'll harken back to that first preseason game when in overtime he takes the puck in his own end and goes the length of the ice and draws a penalty. I didn't see that in his game last year. So he's coming in with a new confidence. I just think it's time to start there. Look, this roster, if healthy, is set, but it's time to start looking and just getting a game here and there for the Brad Lamberts, the Chibrikovs of the world, if you will. I think Brad Lambert should step. Now, if that's what they do, I don't know. Like, they could be sitting there doing what they always do and go, look, Parker Ford's a bottom 6 guy. We're keeping the bottom 6 guy. That's where he's going to play. I understand that.
Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side. Remember I teased a little stat that involved Dallas, Los Angeles, Winnipeg Jets?
Yes.
I'll tell you what I was talking about when I bring that up. Also, hey, we got to give away that VIP car wash. I got the text right here. I'll read it out.
Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Well, congratulations to Christine. She is our VIP texter here, winning the VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. Christine.
Congrats, Christine.
She said, Jesus, settle down. This is ominous. Oh, my goodness, this is ominous.
She said the Jesus?
Actually, she spelled... It's spelled Geezuz.
Oh, so it's Jeez.
Jesus.
Okay, you can say that. I'll allow that.
It's not ominous. It's just life, and life comes with adversity. I would rather see them fight some early battles and figure out what they're made of than cruise through 15 straight wins and find out at playoff time that they don't know how to fight the fight. Settle down. They'll be fine. That one from Christine. Congratulations. You're our
that's interesting. I'm glad you won because I disagree. I think it is a little ominous.
So I mentioned that's
ominous is a strong word. Like, I didn't mean it's over and all this. I just mean that it's not it's one, like Lowry was one thing Sandberg was okay, but when you add in Perfetti and now this I think that's a little much.
Let me find some
that's a little much is what I'm saying.
Let me find some synonyms for ominous. Sinister. Menacing. Stop me if you like any of these words. Bleak.
Bleak is the word I was looking for.
Threatening. Somber.
Somber is another good word. Bleak and somber.
Dark.
This is bleak and somber.
Dark, foreboding, or portentous. Portentous. Portentous.
I'm going to have to use the Ricky from Trailer Park Boys when they asked him about the incumbent, and he said, why don't you use normal people words and I'll understand what you're talking about.
This certainly is portentous.
No, I think it's bleak in that. Look, it's nothing they can't overcome. They're still a good team, but to go up against Dallas and the Kings.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, if Toews plays, great. But, sorry, have you seen Dallas's lineup?
I tied in that stat that involves the Dallas Stars and the LA Kings and the Winnipeg Jets.
Right.
The stat is the Winnipeg Jets are the oldest team this year in the NHL.
They are.
They are.
I just saw the top 5 youngest. I was wondering where they were.
The Jets are the oldest team. They are the oldest team. Average over 30.
I could see that, though. Their core is almost pushing 30 or over.
Okay. What are the other teams that are just below them in the top 5? Like, the Jets are number 1. What are the other top 6 teams?
I think the Capitals, no.
Nope. Florida.
Florida's old, yeah.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Edmonton. Colorado. And Vegas.
So
I'm saying, if that concerns you, that is a list of probably the 6 best teams in the NHL. And I wanted to mention the Dallas Stars too, because I mentioned them as well. They are very close to that list. They're very close to the top.
Yeah. So all the good teams.
Yeah.
I saw the top 5 youngest teams, and they're all terrible. They're Chicago, Columbus.
So some people get worried. They say, they're too old. But I'm saying all the best teams are the older teams.
I just saw the Stanley Cup ring for the Panthers. You're not reaching in your pocket to get change with that thing. You're going to have to take it off. That won't fit in your pocket.
You just wear, you know what you do? You wear it to like a social or something, and then just constantly scratch your eye.
Yeah.
Just so that people see it. And you're just making sure your hair is fine, and you're just, rubbing your face with your...
Can I get 2 double white rums?
Just let me think about that. Let me scratch my head with my ring finger. Yes. Beautiful.
2 silver bullets and a shot. And then you scratch your forehead and go, how much is that? It's on the house. Just take it. Oh, okay.
Jim told to take you all the way till 2 o'clock. Thanks very much to every Forte for producing the show. That's it for me. Back there tomorrow. See ya.